Hey everybody, welcome back to Ogre Speed Shop. So we're gonna get back on the Firebird and we need to make this thing waterproof, weatherproof, rainproof, whatever you don't call it. And this is what we gotta do. We gotta make a patch for this area of the roof. And because I was originally planning on replacing the roof, but to save some money, I'm gonna make filler panels for this here. Now, on original metal, there's always like a 1-inch gap right here, and they filled it with lead filler, maybe a little less than 1 inch. But I'm going to go ahead and fill this all up to make it flush with one piece of metal, and patch this hole, and do the same thing for the other side over there. So that's what we're going to get into in this video, is basically making the roof so it seals. So let's get into it and get these holes patched. Now, it's the first things first, as always. You want to get rid of anything that could burn. Nice squeak. We're going to be cutting a lot of metal here and welding. So I'm going to take these interior panels off, take the seat out, center console out. I might take the dash out and the dash pad out just to be safe. I'll cover the windshield because I don't want to remove it. I shouldn't have to remove it because I don't think we're doing anything. I don't think this patch up here is going to require cutting near that. So I think we'll be far enough back that we don't have to worry about it. So that's what we're going to do, get the seat out. All right, so that's part one. We get the seat out. Now let's get that one panel off over there. So let's get that out and get that done. All right, so it's one of the places we got to repair is this corner right here. What we got to do is get up in here. You can see how that falls up underneath this piece right here. There's also this piece of like insulation material. So I'm gonna see if I can scrape that out of there, get it out of there so it doesn't burn when I'm welding. So yeah, I don't know what the heck that material is, but I got a feeling it'll catch on fire. So I gotta scrape it out as much as I can. And then when you get that piece cut out right there, we'll see where we're at with that. So when I'm about to make a cut to do a patch piece, I always try to like draw a line to keep it straight. That way when I make my cuts, I can keep it within an area. I'm not just cutting blindly. And so this shouldn't be too big of an area, but I'm gonna use my straight edge here, or my ruler here, to do a nice square piece basically, with all straight lines, straight edges. So that way I got a nice area to cut out. And I'm not going down over this lip right here, so I'm gonna stay above it. And I got about a ½ inch there, so I'm gonna go onto that. And then go straight across here. Now there is a bit of a curve to this roof line, obviously. But we'll be able to form that with the new piece of metal. So that's gonna be my area that I cut out. So we can cut out a new piece for that. So one thing you gotta remember is I'm not a professional. So you can get some tips from the way I do things here, but you don't have to do the way I do it. So if you got a better way of doing it, leave it in the comments. Let me know how you do it. All right, so we got that patch or that piece cut out, and as you can see, that little area was hiding some more rust down underneath on the support structure. So I'm gonna have to take a little bit more out. Don't know yet. Maybe I'm gonna be back to my idea of getting a whole new roof. If I can find one. They're out of stock at Summit right now. I have to talk to Auto Metal directly. All right, so we got this piece cut out now, and the cool thing about Another reason why it's nice to make a nice straight cut as far as you're doing, as far as when you cut the old piece out, you can take that, you can just use that as a template for your new piece. You can just bring it over to the sheet metal. This is a little thicker, I think it's 20 gauge. This is 41 thousandths, this is 48 thousandths, so that'd be more than enough. So let's get that scribed out and cut out and fit it to the roof. As far as the rust is down inside there, I am going to clean it up somewhat, but I'm not going to take the whole roof off to clean everything. So I'll get rid of all this stuff here, or clean that up, and see what else I can do. And I'll spray some rust reformer in there just to clean it up a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty gnarly underneath there, but it doesn't look that bad on the inside of the car. It's just that area. This is where the only place that has rust holes. So hopefully the rest of it ain't so bad. But eventually I will put a new roof on it, I think. But I just want to get this to where I can seal it up and drive it, because I don't want water to get into it. All right, so I cleaned up the edges of this. It's going to cut me. Just going to grab a little piece off of here, or basically go to the edge here. So I have a somewhat square area. I can just cut out the two sides rather than 3 or 4 sides. Just use a Sharpie. And there's our template. I didn't want to push down on it because this does have a shape to it, which is the shape of the roof. I want to be able to utilize that as another template in order to come up with the arch for the roof. Because it actually goes 2 different ways. It goes this way, and it also goes this way a little bit. So we want to be able to maneuver it and play with it and massage it to make it work. So let's get this cut out. All right, so we got that piece cut out. These little hook magnets you get from Harbor Freight work really good for holding the pieces in place. So you can see though, because it's flat, hopefully you can see, it's kind of hard to see from the camera, but obviously it doesn't quite fit. So we got to put some rolls into it. And one way we have to curve it this way and also this way. So we're going to do that real quick, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Okay, so what I use this little piece of 3.5 inch tubing. And I just use it to kind of roll it by hand till it shapes itself and gets that shape of that roof. Takes a little bit of work. Sometimes a hammer comes in handy too. This is kind of thick, so. Another reason why you don't want to flatten that piece out, the original piece, you can use that to check the angles of it. And you can see I actually went too far bending it like that, so, but you can see how it's arching. We got to put a little bit of bending that way too. So this end actually looks pretty good. We got to take a little bit out of this end, and we got to put an arch in it this way. As you're doing this, that looks a little better. There you go. Now you can see how that side is lining up now. This side's good, so we just got to work on this arch here now. And as you adjust the arch going this way, it may move that arch as well. So you just gotta, like I said, it just takes a little bit to play around with. This metal's not super hard to bend. And there you have it. So you just play around with it till you get it to fit right. Then you come over here and see how it fits on the car. Again, use my little magnet thing here and stick it on there. See how the lines, or each area lines up. So let me go get a couple more of these, and we'll put it on there and see where we're high and low at. Okay, so I'm gonna put one in the corner right there to hold it. So you got one in the corner over here. I'll make sure the gapping's right too for each side. And it looks pretty good there. So we're definitely off a little bit. It needs a little bit more of an arch in it, I think. Or a little less in the arch towards the front. So take her off and we can kind of bend her back a little bit right here. So yeah, that's what we gotta do. We just gotta keep massaging it until it fits right. So I'm just gonna play with it. When I get it fitting right, we'll come back. All right, so I got it pretty close now. I think most of the area I can do when I'm welding it, I'll stitch it and then kind of push down or pull up on it a little bit to bring it in. But it's pretty close now, and just keep moving on me, but get the idea. So that's what you do. You just get it to just tweak it and play around with it for a while. It took me about 20 minutes to get this far. And you just play around with it till it fits. You know, doing metal work is not a fast process, so just got to remember that when you're doing this kind of stuff. So just a real quick tech tip, don't do what I'm doing. If you're welding or grinding near glass on your car, cover it up with some kind of fire-resistant paper or something so you don't leave a bunch of little weld speckles in it. So just a quick tech tip on that one. So one thing I noticed when getting ready to make a template for this piece right here, if you look right there, you see how these don't line up. And this was made off the original. I actually made this piece right here, but you can see the gap right there. So I think what I'm going to do is actually, because it's good everywhere except for right there. You can see how it's kind of in there. It's hard to see, but the bottom part is actually right. So I think I'm gonna have to pie cut this to bring it over, to line up with the rest of the frame here. So if you look over here, you can see how this side lines up. I have to fill that gap obviously, but for the most part, that lines up with the bottom. So we're good on this side. We just gotta make the template for the new piece. And I think I do have to pie cut this section here to move that top part over a little bit. It's kind of hard to see. I'm in kind of a dark area of the shop here. But, yep. So, got to play around with that a little bit. All right, so one of the other things we have to do here is remake this drip rail. There's a piece that goes behind here and loops up, as you can see here, comes out and around. So we got to remake that for this section here, going all the way down to the bottom, to the corner. So just more metal work. All right, so we got that section underneath there, rust converted, hopefully. It'll be good enough for that section at least. So now we got to put this back on, or weld that on permanently, and start making the pieces for this back here. And you can see I pie cut this and moved it over now. A little bit light on there, so now that's lining up with each other. So I just have to fill that in, and that'll actually get filled in partially by the piece I'm going to be making for this. Just blending it in right here is going to be kind of the hard part, because this is supposed to be under this, and then filled with lead. But I'm going to make a full piece to close it in. So I might, maybe I should cut that off and make this piece actually round down over. I don't know. We'll figure it out when it comes time for it. All right, so next thing we're going to do is make a template for this piece right here. And I probably could have made it a little bit easier on myself by not cutting it the way I did, but you know, hindsight's 2020. I did this months ago, years ago, almost at least a year ago now. So I'm just going to use this as a template. I'm just going to use the good old dirty finger method, basically. It's a little bit windy out today. But you never know. Can't hear me? I'm sorry. Well, let me get that top part cut, and then I can work on the bottom from there. All right, so I got the template cut out. I used the old hammer method to get this bottom one because I couldn't quite do it with my finger. It wasn't my finger ain't a strong enough edge, but got it pretty close now. As you can see, the template lines up now. And overhangs a little bit on this side over here, which is good. I'm not sure yet what I'm doing over here as far as filling that and making it level, because this part's already good. This part here dips down, so you need to basically make that blend in there. So that's going to be the hard part. Well, that and trying to shape this thing to where it needs to be, because I don't have any real shaping equipment. So I'm going to be relying on a hammer and dolly and my hands and, you know, round edges and whatnot. So we got the template cut, so we can start can put that on our metal now and transfer it. All right, so we got the metal, or the template laid out on the metal now. So I just gotta cut her out and then start shaping. Okay, so we got the first piece cut out, and as you can see, it obviously ain't gonna fit right away. It's gonna take some playing around with it, tweaking it, and molding it, and shaping it, and doing all that good stuff to it to actually make it fit in there. And it's obviously a little bit big because you can see down here, it overlaps that a little bit, so. But yeah, that's where we're at with that, is we're just gonna shape it and get it to fit in there. So that's what I'll be doing probably for the next couple hours. But I'm not going to bore you with all that because that's a lot of effort. And it'd be really easy if I had like an English wheel or a planishing hammer. So if there's any companies out there that, hey, want to donate, let me know. And I will give you my address. So, but yep, that's where we're at. We just got to shape it and get it to fit. All right, so I've been playing around with it quite a bit here, and it's getting really close now. Stupid bugs. But you can see it's definitely starting to come into play now. This is pretty good over here. I can probably tack this in and start getting everything else just to form around by hand at this point. Got this flush down here. There's a little valley right there, but that's where the dip in the actual quarter panel is at. So I'll be filling that in anyways. So definitely getting closer. This little corner right here is just being a pain in the butt, but that's the only place that's not given right now. So I gotta still work that area a little bit. See, there's a gap. Everywhere else is looking pretty good. So I just gotta work that area right there, get it to curve around, and then hopefully finish it off there. All right, so as we can see here, we got this piece pretty much shaped in, so it's ready to be tacked in. That piece is shaped and ready to be tacked in, and we're working on the driver's side. And I just thought it was kind of funny that this one turned out to look kind of like a machete, but it fits in here like so. Just got to shape it to fit the actual contour of the roof and the quarter panel. So that's what we're going to do next. All right, so we got the driver's side pretty much done. I got to do a little tweaking right in this area still, but overall it fits pretty good, and I'm going to run with it. So I think, you know, I can start welding this in too, and then just work this in as I go. So, yeah, we'll see. But it's one step closer. All right, so we got this piece welded in and started grinding it down, but it's not ground down all the way yet. Got this piece all the way welded in. I'm sure there'll be a couple spots that I missed, but you can see what I'm going for here. Instead of having a lead filler, I want it to be fully welded. And yeah, I missed a few. There's a few spots that are low still. But just want to get an idea so you can see how it's smooth there. There's no longer that gap that you normally fill with lead filler there. So there's that one and this one over here. Still welding on it and fitting it a little bit, but it's just being tacked in right now. So that's where we're at. Getting closer to being weatherproof almost. All right, so the driver's side welded in now. There's a few places that are pretty low. I might have to do some work on that to bring it out, but just let's do a little bit of quick sanding right there on that area, and you can see still a couple little spots. But overall, you know, after body fill and everything, you'll never notice it's there. So, yep, we're getting there. So, I'm pretty happy with it. Once we get it all ground down and smoothened out, it should look pretty good. Then I got to go on and move on to the drip rails and make a new drip rail right here for this on both sides. So, that's what we got so far. right, so we're getting there with the filler for the roof. I still got to do a lot of grinding and more filling, but you pretty much get the idea of what's going on with it, and but there's just a lot more work to go. So, but this video is getting kind of long, so I'm going to leave it here and just get you an idea of what the patch is going to look like, and I'll clean it up some more, fill it some more, and paint it, and then show you a video of that later on. But for that, we're going to go ahead and leave it here. That's going to do it for this video on making patch panels for the roof of the Firebird. Oh, that was perfect. I just put big black marks on my face. That's awesome. War paint. Ah! But anyways, so got the patches on there. Still need some filler work done to it. Clean it up a little bit better. But it's definitely going to be waterproof now. Like, I won't have any holes in it. And maybe I'll be able to drive in the rain once I get some weather stripping on there. But other than that, it's really good. But anyways, if you like this video, leave me a like down there. Leave me a comment. Let me know what I can do. What I can do better. Leave me suggestions down there too, what I can do. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And I appreciate you all watching. And until next time, I will see you all later.